morning and welcome to our Q&A call. So hopefully everyone this morning did receive an email from us, and if not, we'll be going a little bit over that email because there's several different things that you should know that's going on. So before we get started, as always, like to know who's in here with me. So if you can go into your little webinar control panel, down in that little area, just type what you're with, where you're located in the US. That would be great. And I'll give you a couple of minutes. What we're going to do today in the very beginning is actually go over some of the basics. What's new in Mortgage Coach? We did do a release last night, and I want to go through that release so we can really touch on the information to allow you guys to understand what you guys should be seeing now and to walk through the new tax benefit information. After that, we'll cover some of the information. If you guys have questions, concerns, things out in the field that you're working on that you need me to assist you with, I'll be more than happy to assist you with those items. So welcome, Ryan from Kansas City. I was actually born in Leavenworth, so nice to have you here. Jack from Fairway, good to have you back, Jack. Welcome, Colleen, out there in Virginia. And we also have John in Virginia. So anyone else on the call wants me to know what company you're with, where you're at, please drop that down in the little webinar control panel down in that questions area. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the release. So last night we did have our Q1 release done. And with that, the first thing you should be doing is clearing your cash out. So we have an area depending on what you're using, and I'm going to place this down in the chat box. You want to go in and make sure you clear out that data history. And the reason for this is because by clearing it out, you're actually going to make sure that you have the new fields showing up in Mortgage Coach. So when you go in here, it has each of them broke down: Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Chrome. So go in there, follow these little instructions, and then you'll be able to clear it out. After that, when you go into your Mortgage Coach, you'll be able to come into some new fields that we have in here. So let's go ahead and log in. First thing I'm going to cover is tax benefits. We have the updated tax benefit for 2018 taxes in there. So a couple of things I'm going to go through are in those tax fields. So we're going to go in like we're building a new client. And you'll find a lot of the information in here is going to be very similar. So I'm just typing in a name. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to choose purchase a new home. But now when I move forward, oh no, it didn't clear my cat. Property value, purchase price. Let's see if I put it in, if it drops in. There should be a new field right here. So let me go in really quick, try one more time. So if you do have Chrome, here's how you go in and clear it out. Over here on the right, there's 3 little dots. You'll go down to your settings area. In your settings area, you're going to scroll all the way down to advanced. Then you have a privacy and security settings. Underneath there, there's a clear browser data. Simply click on that clear browser data. And there's a basic, and then there's an advanced. Let's go ahead and we're going to do the last 4 weeks. Let's see if this helps it out. So browser history, download history, cookies, and your cache. Passwords, don't check any of the boxes at the bottom because that will then eliminate some of your other information. And we're going to put clear history. So let's see if it shows up now. I need to re-log in. And we'll see if it shows up now. If not, I'll try using a different account. So it's not coming up still. Let me try going completely out of Mortgage Coach. And one more time, if this doesn't work, what I'll do is I'll bring up Jacob's video, and we'll just walk through and talk through Jacob's video. Okay, now let's go back into Edge. Okay, hopefully this works this time. If not, again, I'll bring up Jacob's video because I do have a video that displays it as well. So in the assumptions, there we go. Now we have it. So now you can see the property value, but now we have a new standard deduction down here at the bottom. So you want to make sure you're seeing standard deduction at the bottom. Now, again, it is not red. It is not required to place this in, but if you do want to show that tax benefit, you want to place it in. I'm going to put the standard deduction now for a single house or single individual, $12,1200. We'll advance forward. And this information is going to stay the same, but we do have our tax bracket down here. So I'm going to place that tax bracket in. Now you'll see a filing status drops in underneath that tax bracket. So now I can go in, make sure that you're talking to your individuals, making sure you know what their filing is. We're going to do single for today. And then I'll move forward. This page remains the same. And for the most part, product's going to remain the same, but I'm going to go ahead and show you those differences. So we're just going to do a conventional 30-year. I'm going to use a product template just to speed it up a little bit. Oh, let's add that extra 0. And our interest rate. Now we'll advance forward. This page remains the same. It's not until you get this third page that now you're going to have another spot added in there. And this is from a lot of feedback that we received from our beta testers. So several of the loan officers out in the field, they said that when they initially did the taxes for the individual, their taxes were less than what their standard deduction was. However, when they added that property tax deduction in there, then it pushed them over. So we wanted to make sure that we added in that aspect. There you can include the property tax. The other factor is if you are working with MI, and let's do the 0.85 like we were doing in FHA loan, you also now have a little button here to calculate the taxes for the MI. So these two are new little buttons where you can add the property tax if it is tax deductible and the MI if it's tax deductible. So those are in there, but please remember that any of yours, that's all on this loan. We'll go now into a refinance. A refinance is going to be a little different. So let me go ahead and go back to the beginning. We'll go into the goal and we're going to do it like it's a refinance. So we'll be going through, we still have this new standard deduction here. But when it comes to, and I'm just going to put in some fake numbers in here. So bear with me while I type in a few numbers. Okay, now when I go over to my products, you're going to use that copy from, just like we normally do, copy it from that current loan. Then you're going to click yes, it's a refi. When you click on yes, it's a refi, if they are doing a cash out, the only cash out loans are going to be, well, a couple of them, the two that I'm aware of, is if it's a cash out for renovations or if it's a cash out. Let me go back to my notes. I actually wrote notes down on this and I don't write notes very often. So cash out, oh, if it's a renovation. So if it's a renovation, you're doing that cash out, then you can do a tax deduction. But you cannot do a tax deduction if they're just doing a basic cash out for, let's say, paying off credit cards. So the logic is in there. If you click the little use cash out for renovation, renovations, then it's going to calculate it into that same information. You do want to remember, though, any of the loans originated before that tax date, and that tax date is 12/16/2017, and you may want to note that somewhere, December 16th of 2017. They are actually grandfathered in for the old tax laws. And when you place in your assumptions area on that mortgage, you place this date in here, it then takes it back to that logic that was before. So it's going to be the 2017 and earlier tax laws that pertain to it. If it is after that date, those new tax laws come into play. And one of the factors is it used to be $1 million that you could write off. Now it's going to be somewhere between $330,000 up to $750,000. So it really starts coming into play only after that date. So mostly, for the biggest part, you're going to have those two new tax laws on your new purchases, but the majority of your refinances, my guess, is still going to pertain to that old tax law. Now, we do have one other aspect that comes into play, and that is if you have a second loan. So if I have a second loan, I'm just going to click on yes, like I do, and I move it forward. On the second loan information, actually, I need to take it off and put it back on purchase. On the second loan information, you now again have that new little tab for is it tax deductible or not. So let's move over here. So we're going to put in that second loan information. Include in tax benefit is down here. So again, what money can you include in the tax benefit? And I'm trying to get over to my notes. Is HELOC with the first loan for a purchase. Those are on the tax deductible, and reno loans. If you're doing a renovation loans, those are also going to be in that category. I'm sure there's a few others, but those are probably the main two that you're going to be able to use it for. Now, the question always comes down to how's this going to be beneficial to me as the loan officer? And as the loan officer, what this is really going to open up is because most loan officers are not going to have the ability to show this information without using Mortgage Coach. You're going to be able to really leverage it to work with CPA and financial advisors. So it's really giving you a step above other loan officers out in the field, because the calculations are actually so complex that unless someone's really, really good at using Excel worksheets, more likely they're not going to be able to come up with the amounts. Let's go ahead and go back over here. I'm going to go into, I don't think I put enough information. Let's take this second loan off. And I'm just going to show you the loans as far as the products that you're seeing at the end. That's going to be identical what you're used to. So let's just do a 15-year really quick. I'm going to copy from that 30-year and just change a couple of things on here, just so we can see that when you do look at the presentation itself, it's not going to be vastly different. There's nothing in there that you're going to see that you're not accustomed to. All of that's going to remain the same. So we'll bring that up here. And you'll see over here tax benefit, just like you've been accustomed to. So we have that here. And then monthly payment difference is the same. The savings over 60 months, again, if you choose to include that tax benefit, it's going to display here. For anyone not completely comfortable with this window, all this is showing is unrecoverable cost. So by showing that interest in MI plus the closing costs less the tax benefit. So I do want to ask if there's any questions on the tax benefits. Again, you should have received an email. If you haven't received it yet, it should be coming in your inbox. And with that email, you do have a video in there that Jacob goes through it really detailed, so you'll be able to hone down on everything you need to know about the tax information. So it looks like we are all good. A couple other things that have changed. When you look at your presentation, the name of your company used to be in all caps. Now it is displayed exactly how it's typed. So you want to make sure that when you look at your company name, that it is now uppercase and lowercase properly. If not, you can have that adjusted. All you need to do is let your admin know. Your admin can retype in the company name. Headshots, let's go over to here in your settings area. I am going to suggest that everyone go into your settings, go to your image, clear out your image here, and add a new headshot. So I'm going to go in my desktop, and I thought I pulled one over. It's probably in my downloads. Nope, I didn't pull one in. So you'll make sure that you do have that in there. Let's see if it went into my photos. Nope. Okay. So make sure you do redo your headshot. What's going to happen is it's going to be a more clear image. And the other thing is your logo. If your logo is not standard and you uploaded your own logo, re-upload your logo, because again, it's saved differently within our system, so it's going to be a lot more clear than it was before. Payment note area in the presentation. When you're adding your payment notes, we're going to go over here to analysis so I can just go forward. So here in the payment notes, it was limited. Now your limitation is actually 1,000 characters. So you're allowed to type in a lot more in this information than you used to, so you can get into a lot more complex, detailed information for your borrowers. And then the tax benefit. And then if you are an admin for your enterprise, please let us know if you did not receive the information, because there is a couple of sections in the admin back-end part that we want to talk about. And the last thing is RateWatch. So RateWatch, the installed link now. So let's go up to our mortgage coach. And we're going to go to our apps and go to RateWatch here. So now RateWatch, if you go here to the install, you're actually going to be brought to the newest version. So we had an older version on ours. So by reinstalling it now, it'll bring you up to that newer version. So that is all of the information on what is new in Mortgage Coach for that Q1 release. Again, if you have any questions, let me know what those questions are for those release factors. So I'll give everyone a couple of minutes in case you have questions. You can also, it's a decent sized class, but not too big. If you have a question and you just want to raise your hand, I can unmute you as well. So the question is from Jack, new version of RateWatch to install. Okay, so if you go to mortgagecoach.com, we have our apps right here. You'll come down to RateWatch. And I'll just give you this link so you can go right in there. So I'm going to post that in there for everyone. When you come to our app area, you'll click on RateWatch, and then you'll have the little whichever store you want. So I'm on an Apple. I would click on the Apple store. So that is how you would install it. Okay, let's go back over. Any other questions? Let me read the email really quick and verify for you, Jack. So on my email, it says, the install now link in the browser version of RateWatch now points to the Windows 10 store. to allow you. So it is on there. I can send this over to you after we're done. I do convert it. I do save it. So if you do want a copy, this one's normally not sent over, but if you do want a copy of this class, let me know in the little question area, and I will be sure to send over to you in a separate area to everyone after the class. So just type your email address into the little Q&A section, and then I will highlight them and send it on over. Okay, that is all I have for the update of what's new for Q1 2018. I do want to ask if anyone came onto the call, you have questions, you have concerns, anything that you have that you want me to answer. So is there anything you have you want me to answer while you're out in the field? If not, we'll just push a couple of poll questions to see if you do have questions, whether it's about strategy. I know Julio has a question. Let's see. What is the minimum number of LOs needed for an enterprise account? Julio, that is 10. 10 is the minimum amount for an enterprise account. So if you'd like, leave your email address in there. I'll drop you in, or I'll send you over, depending on the area you're in. Actually put your email address and put where you're located, and then I'll know who to contact. Went to the install rate, what only offers me the Apple Store or Google Play Store, not. So I believe the PC is Google Play. Let's see, I actually have, I think I have it on my PC or on my Apple. So let me look in my apps really quick to see if I do have it on here. I have a ton of apps, so if not, I will ask Jacob for some verification on it, but I thought there was. Let's try one more time. We'll just do a search. Okay, that's not it. Okay, let me talk to Jacob. What I'll do is next time I come into the class, we will go over just exactly how to do it. And that way I have you guys covered to make sure that it is working. Jack said if you push Google Play, it does work. Perfect. And this is why I have you guys with me, so you guys can actually, and now he's rejecting and saying it's not working after all. So let me talk to Jacob about it internally, and we will make sure that you do get it covered on there. So any other questions that you guys have about current industry, what's going on, things that I can help you with, strategies, implementations, anything out in the field that you guys are struggling a little bit with? I know a lot of people have been talking a lot about a lot of rate shopping going on. Just remember, when you are showing Mortgage Coach at the very beginning, you're building instant trust. So we do have studies that show showing Mortgage Coach with that initial meeting is slowing down that rate watch or that rate shopping a little bit. So no questions. Let's go into my polls then, and let's see if there's any topics in my polls. I'm not sure because I haven't used these for a long time. You guys have been coming with lots of questions. So question, can you guys see the poll? Because it says, oh, there we go. It said it was showing, but it's not showing any results. So if there's anything here that you want to see me work on, I will work on that a little bit for you. I only have 24 of you guys voting. So if you have any input here, if any of these do resonate with you and you're struggling with it, let me know. Okay, 38% have voted. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll. So it looks like Rate Shoppers is the #1 key thing going on right now. And absolutely, let's talk about rate shopping. Rate shopping is a huge issue. So again, #1 is to show the client the presentation from the very beginning. So we've done a lot of research here at Mortgage Coach about clients, and I'm going to bring up, it's called an ROI calculator, to show you guys a little bit about how it's affecting the actual loan officer, but not only how it's affecting, but we'll go into the why. So this is our ROI calculator. You may or may not have seen this before. So what we do is we basically take the number of loans closed based or compared to the number of credit pulls you've done. So let's say you've pulled 320 credit pulls. We know on average, most of the time, people close about 30% of what they're pulling in credit pulls. If they're not using Mortgage Coach, that's what we're seeing. So I just put 100 loans in there for closed loans. Average loan amounts, I'm not sure what everyone's average is in here. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here at the 275. Compensation, let's say the compensation is less than the 120. Let's do 90 bips. So now we're assuming that 75% of the loans, there's lost loans, and we know how many of those lost loans. They lost 220 loans in this scenario. 75% of those lost loans are unfundable. By unfundable, they may have had a low credit score, they may have had high DTI. There's something going on that they just couldn't get into a home right now. And that's okay, because maybe they do later on, but we're going to take off 75% of those loans that you did not fund, and they're lost loans. And this is based on averages. Again, we've worked on a lot of research over the last few years. However, what we did find is out of those lost loans, so we had 55 of those loans that were funded by a competitor. 25 of them would have been captured had you used Mortgage Coach in the very beginning. So that would have been another 14 loans for this loan officer. And based on that, this loan officer not going out and getting any more business, just working their current business a little harder or a little different, they're going to be able to capture an extra $34,000 based on this scenario. So the reason why this is happening is because with Mortgage Coach, loan officers are actually, or originators are actually feeling a little bit more educated in the very beginning. So every LO has loans funded by other competitors. We're not worried about that, but we are worried that we want to make sure that we're teaching to all of our clients, and we're building that emotional connection from the very beginning. So if you're able to go in and educate a client, if you're able to go in and really, teach them about what's going on, because the #1 complaint about consumers after they purchased a house is they don't feel like they were educated enough. Mortgage Coach goes in and does an emotional connection, and they do this through the technology. It's videos, it's graph, it's you giving advice. So all of these video examples, they build that emotional connection up in the very beginning, and typically less than 5 minutes you can do that using Mortgage Coach. So I do want to see hands in here. Who is familiar with my master template that I have been showing? I've been showing it now to a few different, and if you want this ROI calculator, let me know again. Just type it down into the little area. I'll send over that. It's really great for managers. Great question, and I'll get to that, Jana. So show of hands, who's familiar with my master template? Using a master template. Okay, no one's, okay, we're going to go through that, but I am going to, Frank dropped in. Frank is one of our regulars, and he logged in. He's only going to be here for 10 minutes, so I want to answer his question. Is when he goes into Mortgage Coach, he's getting a pop-up that the page does not exist. Okay, Frank, that is definitely not the what it should be doing. So I would contact support, and you know where that support button is in the bottom right-hand corner. Contact support down there. Let them know what's going on. That's not something I can just, there's no quick fix because I don't have anyone who's having that problem, and support hasn't come back letting me know that there are problems. So let's see. Let's go back up to Jana, and I'll actually show you this one after I show the master template, because the master template is such a great way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what the master template does. And then after I show you what the master template does, if you want the master template, there's a class next month. I have a session of 3 classes. First class being product or fee templates, then product templates, then the master template class. So here's my master template. I'm going to go into my view all. And on the master template class the other day, I used the and symbol for any of those master templates. And what a master template is it is a presentation that is 100% complete. The only thing it is missing is personal information about my borrower. So it does not have my borrower's name, it does not have the loan amount, and it doesn't have the interest rate. So that is the only information that's not in there. So let's go in, let's do the FHA versus conventional. For me to use my master template, I'm going to copy this template. So I'm going to place my mouse on top of there, copy the analysis to a new client. Now, watch how quick it is for me to fill out this information as I'm talking to my client. So I'm talking to my client and I'm like, hi, Frank, nice to meet you. Great to have you here. So let's talk a little bit about your current financial information. So currently, how much do you make? And I'm writing down this information. I can even use my little note area. So he makes $80,000. How much debt do you currently have? You have $23,000 in debt. Great. So I'm going to put that $23,000 here. Your monthly debt is about $350. Perfect. I'm going to figure out how much home can he afford based on his information. I'm going to say he can afford $355. Perfect. I'm also going to add that he's a purchase as I talk to him. And if he is part of a referral, I'm going to place that realtor's name in here as he tells me who it is. And if I have his email, I'll place it in. If I don't have his email in, I'm just going to place that realtor's name in there because I want to make sure that I'm connecting to that realtor. Now you can see my goals is complete. I'm going to go right into my assumptions. I'm going to place in that property value that we just spoke about, so the $355. Again, if I want to fill in more information, if I gather more information, I can type that in as I go. Now I have his annual income, $80,000. I have his monthly debt, which is, this is really all I'm concerned about is that monthly. I'm not as concerned about the annual because that doesn't come into his DTI. And then I'm going to go right into my products. My products is an FHA. You can see my purchase price came over. What is today's rate? 4.75. Beautiful. That product is complete. I can go into my conventional, and I'll just go through this way to show you that everything's complete in there. Now I can go into my 30-year, and again, I'm just going to type in that interest rate. What is the interest rate? And I'm just putting random numbers in here. Now I have a complete presentation. I can go to my preview, add my quote date, notify me when the report is viewed, and click on my preview. So I click on my preview so I can do my highlighting. But if if the client is sitting there with me or if they're on the phone, either way, if they're sitting there with me, I'm going to have an iPad right there. I'm going to hand that iPad. I'm going to open up the presentation in the view. I'm going to hand the iPad to my client. Then I'm going to go into my Edge Live. And once I'm into my Edge Live window, I'm going to start talking to my client. Now, if they're on the phone, you're going to go in and you're going to highlight this and you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to send you over an email right now. Are you at a computer? Or can you get to a computer? Great. So you're going to copy it just by Command C, copy this over, put it into an email, type in their email address, send the presentation to the client. Wait for the client. Let me know when you've opened that presentation up. Because it's on the computer that you're sending it, they don't have to download anything. They can open that presentation up. Then you just start talking the client through. Here's the interest rate, here's the payment, here's the cash to close. So by having a master template, by having all of your products pre-set up in there, so you have a complete presentation, all you add is your client's name, the product, and the interest rate. It's really, really fast and simple, easy to do in front of the client. So any questions about this process? Again, I'll throw in the classes for you into the chat area. But any questions that you have about it, let me know. And I'm going to my calendar on the back end. So classes that I have are coming up in April. Actually, I have to see when I place them on the calendar. So actually, easier way might be, well, here's the fee template. So let me do this. This one's for fee template. So there's that one. The second one is product template. And by having the fee template and the product template pre-set up, then you will be able to easily go in there and make these master templates. The product template one and the last one, and in April, all of them are on Thursday morning. Okay, looks like there's no questions on that. Let's go up to Jana. Jana is how do you work your past pipeline? A couple of things you want to remember there, Jana. And actually, I have a little, I think I still have it on there. I'm going to open up a presentation I did because not too long ago I did do a presentation on the annual mortgage review. So let me bring this over. So we do the process of an annual mortgage review. Actually, I'm just going to do that so I can make this bigger. Annual mortgage review is the process of going through your loans one by one, making sure you hit them. Now, I was a loan officer, and best practice is to hit your past clients at least 4 times a year. So by doing it 4 times a year, then you'll be able to hit them. So I'm going to skip through all of this top part, which just talks about why. So when you're doing an annual mortgage review, you're actually working in depth with the borrower, the realtor, and several other referral sources. So other referral sources, financial, estate planners, insurance agents. You're going to be working with them all as a team. So we're going to go through the borrower. You're going to create your annual mortgage review. So my first question I'm frequently asked is, who do I hit first? Which direction do I go in first? That first person that you hit is the person who is actually coming up to their annual mortgage review. Anyone that you've done in the last year, those are the first people, or past the last year, from year two to year 1. Anyone in that gap there, those are the people you're going to hit first. So by going in there to hit them, you're actually having people who are fresh, so they'll remember everything going on. When you go in, you're just going to make it, this is your annual mortgage review. I reach out once a year. So this is the email. You're going to do 2 things. You're not going to build an annual mortgage review for the client, but you are going to email the client. When you email the client, you're going to send it over, and I'm going to go to the next page. So right here, Rick shares, you're going to send over an email to the client that you have pre-set up, and you're actually going to do it to several clients at once. You're going to use Calendarly, Schedule One, some other application that allows the client to be able to schedule it themselves. So when you go on there, you'll do, and here's a sample, and I can actually, I think I can drop this right in there so you can have a copy of this. Let me go to my handouts. There you go. It's downloading in the handout area. So you're going to hit them, and you're going to have a preset email for everyone that just says, hey, it's time for your annual mortgage review. Let's get together and do a review. So after that, we know probably only a few people are going to set themselves up on your calendar. Next thing you're going to do is use Slide Dial. Slide Dial is amazing. What Slide Dial does is Slide Dial is a phone service that actually calls the client for you, and they leave a message in their voicemail. This message is simply going to say, hey, I'm just checking in with you. I sent you an email the other day talking about your annual mortgage review. Here's a few reasons why I think it's really important for you to sit down with me, list off those reasons, and say, if you don't have that email, please contact, and if you have an LOA or an assistant or someone else in the office, contact this person and they'll resend the email over to you and verify your email address. It can even be yourself. So that's going to be the second set that you're going to hit the people with. You're then going to do it on a third set. Third set is another email very quickly sending over that says, time for your annual mortgage review. Click here to get started. Embed that little address to either your Calendarly or Schedule One, and then you want to hit that. So what happens after you have the client on the phone for the annual mortgage review? We're going to go all the way down here to the bottom. You're going to have a conversation. Conversation with the client is simply going to go like this. When you sit down with that client, the first part is just going to be building rapport, but also pulling out little pieces of information that's going to help you, maybe not now, but in the future, with doing the annual mortgage reviews for the client. So, hey, how's the family doing? Oh, wow, you guys are expecting another kid. That's amazing. When are they expected to be born? Build the relationship with the client. Become their BFF. After you do that, always talk about the kids if they have kids, even if they're not living at home and you know that they have 20-something-year-olds that went off to college. Talk about them. That is one of the number one ways to connect with your client. And the last thing is, how's the house fitting your needs? So is the house working for you guys? Are you guys in love with the house? You know, what's the really great things about the house that you guys, after you moved in, you found? So are there any areas that you're struggling with now that you moved into the house? So then you'll have that conversation with them. So the children information and the house information, those are also to let you know, is it time to get a new house? Is this house not working for them? Another thing about the house, the family, talk about the parents. How are your parents doing? Because in many cases, especially if you're in a multicultural area, they might be a family that moves the elderly into their home, and that might be another opportunity where they need to buy up. So really start understanding your personal client. Now you're going to go into the mortgage conversation, and you might say, well, I closed their loan. I know what their mortgage loan is. When reality is 10 to 16% of your past pipeline is doing something every year with their loan. So if you have not been working your past pipeline like you should be, then that person may have went and got a loan with someone else, refinanced, added a second loan. You don't know the situation until you have the conversation. Conversation, again, really easy. Okay, so when we closed your loan, this is the information I have, and I just want to make sure that it's still relevant for you. So right now, here's the interest rate. Here's, you know, how much you've paid down. Have you made any accelerated payments? So really diving into that information with the client. But then you want to bring up the equity in the property. Here's where you bring that realtor in, the realtor that closed the loan. And you can do it both to the sales side and the lender side, or the sales and the borrower side. call both of them and say, you know what, I'm working with this client and I'm just looking for how much equity does the client have. I'm doing an annual mortgage review. That realtor is going to say, oh, can you show me what that is? And you have that opportunity to pitch the annual mortgage review to your realtor. So by pitching it to the realtor, if you don't have enough in your past pipeline to really keep you busy and work, you can always approach one of these realtors and say, you know, I know you've been in the business a long time. Do you have any clients that you want me to show this to? Because I would be more than happy to do annual mortgage reviews for you. It is very rare that a loan officer offers a realtor the opportunity for the past pipeline to be worked. So by just doing this, you're going to have one up on that other loan officer. So we're going to go ahead and work that in there. Then you're going to come down to a next conversation. This next conversation is really easy. You're going to say, okay, why don't you rate these people in your life from 1 to 10? 1 being a wow, this is an amazing person. 10 being they need a lot of work. It could be the other way around. It's completely up to you. So tell me, how's your financial planner working out for you? And they are going to say either, wow, I love this financial planner, or is their Uncle Ben, or you know what, they're average, or I really don't like them, but this is the person my parents used. So you're just going to write it down. You're not going to put input in. You're just going to write the name down or the score down. You're going to go on to the next one. How about your CPA? How's your CPA? How's your estate planner? How's your insurance agent? After you've asked all of these, then you're going to come back and now you're going to go, okay, so you said your financial planner was a 1. You love your financial planner. I am so glad that you found someone that you're in love with. But let's move on, because you said your CPA, you're not completely happy with them. You don't feel like you're getting as much deductions as possible. I have a 10. And this guy is amazing when it comes to finding those deductions that are going to work for your family. Would you be interested in having a conversation with him? So then you'll be able to go in there, talk to the client, and either give his information to the CPA if that's okay, or give the CPA's information to the client. Then you're going to go to the estate planner. 70% of people do not have estate planners. So just again, 70% of people do not have estate planners. These are people that you should be building connections with. These are people that you can work hand in hand with. So when they come to that estate planner, they say, I don't have one. Your conversation's easy. Oh my God, you don't have one? What's going to happen to your house? Do you have your house protected if anything was to happen to you? And I know this is a morbid conversation and it's not always fun to have, but I want to make sure it's protected for your family. Would you just be interested in talking to a estate planner to talk about how we can have it protected so your family won't have to have that battle in a state court? How many people are going to say no to a free consultation with an estate planner? Not very many, especially when you start pulling heartstrings. So that's going to be the estate planner. Insurance. The first thing you want to ask is, do you have your auto and your house together? If they say no, you're going to talk about the 2 separate ones. But if they do, you're just going to do that 1 to 10. Again, do they love them? Do they hate them? Is this an opportunity for a referral or not? Make sure that you have someone from each of these groups that you can refer to. My suggestion is actually to have 2 or 3 of each of these people. Write down the name, ask them, and I'm going to scroll up to my top section. Ask them information. That one's okay. Ask them information about the type of client that they work most with. Who is their ideal client? Because if I have Jimmy, who's a 19-year-old military boy buying his first house, and I have Joe, who is the estate planner who works with people who have 500,000 plus in assets, those are not going to be a good match. I want to make sure I'm matching my client to the professional that's going to meet their needs. If it's not going to be a good match, I'll move forward. The other thing is if the financial planner, if they're an investment planner, always ask, what was your average rate of return last year? and write that information down. By having their rate of return last year, when you're building out refinance scenarios and there is no benefit to the borrower, show principal reduction versus investment account. Principal reduction, you're going to use some amount, and it could be a conversation that you have, you know what, there's nothing that I think we can do for your house, and you can have this conversation here. There's nothing that I think that we could do with your loan. You're in a great loan. However, do you have extra cash at the end of the month? Are you currently doing anything with that extra cash? Sure. How much extra do you have? $150,000 or $150 a month. Perfect. I'm going to send you back a presentation, and I'm going to show you applying that $150,000 a month towards your house. How's it going to impact you versus investing it with that investment person, the financial planner I gave you earlier, he is getting 6.27 return on his investment last year. So I'm going to show you the two differences, and you can look and you can see if either of these makes sense to you. So now you have that opportunity again to reach out to them. No loan officer is doing this in the market. This is just not something that's being done. So what's the advantage to reaching out to that person that has no refinance opportunity? Referrals. Because you are educating them. People love sending people that they love to other people for business. So by doing this, you're sending those referrals out. And Harvey, I don't have the actual scripting that I went through, but I do have, let me go pull this back up. If you go into LinkedIn, and let me see if I still have, if I'm still logged in there. In here is an article that Dave wrote. So I'm going to go under Dave's information. And while I'm doing that, if you have any questions about anything that I talked about, please feel free to drop it down there. If you have not friended Mr. Savage, go in there, friend request him. He writes a lot of great articles about, we went to articles, there we go, about what's going on in the industry. Whenever he does one of the interviews, he goes in and dissects that interview and writes an article about it. And I'm actually going down to the Rick Shear one here. Hopefully it still comes up. Where is it at? Right here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to give you this article here. In here, there's also a link to Rick's video. In his video, he does a lot of the same verbiage that I've told you. We definitely support Rick, and he's getting a great conversion rate. Though those people that he's reaching out from using this technique, he's actually getting 26 to 32% of those people to sit down and have this conversation with him. So that's a huge opportunity to grow not only his personal business with possible refinances, but his referral business. So he's really starting to reach out and build. Another person that's doing really successful with it, and I believe in our YouTube we have some videos on him, is Wally. Wally is using a similar technique. So let me go into YouTube and I'll pull out that video. Hopefully I can find it pretty easily. Oh, it signed me out. Let's see if I can sign back in really quickly. And I'm not responsible for anything that comes up in this window. So let's see if I can find his. Because I think that they just did a pretty recent one with Wally too. Here we go. And I'll put that down there as well so you guys can listen. Wally's technique's a little different. And he is, again, seeing a lot of positive things coming from that technique. So any questions? It is top of the hour. So just any last questions before I let you guys go. Again, if you want a copy of the video or of this recording, let me know in your down here in the question area, type in your email address, let me know you want a copy of the recording. I'll be sure to send it to you because this class is one of the few classes that we don't automatically send it out to. So otherwise, if you have no questions, you're welcome to jump off. Harvey, I'm going to, you just raised your hand. Do you want me to unmute you? So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
I was just going to ask.
Hi, Harvey.
Hi, how you doing today? Thanks for the information. It's great information. I was just going to see if I could have you send the day's class over.
Send what? I'm sorry, you cut out.
This recording.
Oh, absolutely. I'll send it over. Put your email address down there for me into the question area and I'll send it over to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You do the same.
Perfect. Thanks everyone for having me today. I hope that this does help you out in your business and helps increase your revenue. Bye and have a great day.